Hello, my name is Skylar.
And my name is Tyler. I pay respect to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation where Dad's podcast is recorded.
I live on Bunjil land. I believe Bunjil is the creator of land of our first peoples. He is the creator of the land of where I am right now.
I pay my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples.
This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land.
Hello and welcome to Over the Rainbow, a podcast series dedicated to all things rainbow dads. I am Murray, I am your host, and today we are discussing altruistic surrogacy in Canada. I speak with Rob and Duncan about their journey to have their beautiful daughter Bella. Duncan is a natural-born storyteller, so you are going to really enjoy this chat as well as, hopefully, learn a lot about altruistic surrogacy in another country. Hello and welcome to Over the Rainbow, a podcast series dedicated to rainbow dads and their journey to parenthood. I have two very, very lovely guests sitting in front of me right now. A big hi there and hello to Rob and Duncan.
Hello, great to be here. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you for coming. Now, I thought it might be a good idea, rather than saying, what I usually say is just tell me something about yourself. How about you describe each other? Does that sound good?
Sure. For this this sort of forum, I feel like I have to be nice.
No, be as catty as you want.
It's actually quite funny. So I would say that Duncan has a brain that goes 1,000 miles an hour. And before we had our beautiful girl, Bella, he would do all of the thinking for the both of us, which was great because I was quite carefree.
It's the Rob Moore holiday, as I call it.
But now that's changed a little bit.
Rob is what I call now panna cotta.
Panna cotta.
So he's held together with a little bit of a shake of the plate and he wobbles all over the place.
I just love that description to describe somebody, and I think I'm going to reuse it because automatically I'm thinking of certain people, that I'm like, they're panna cotta.
Completely panna.
Yeah.
Now, I've invited you two here because you two dads, rainbow dads, but you have a freshly baked Bella. Do you like that?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah, your daughter Bella was born 5 months ago, and you went over to Canada, which is going to be a great discussion because you did surrogacy, and it's altruistic surrogacy. But as we were speaking before we started to record, it's got a commercial feel to it. So we're going to unpack that. But I guess a great way to start is take me back to what was happening in your lives where you woke up and said, do you want to have a baby?
I don't even think we woke up. It was actually I think it was our third date. We started speaking about it.
The third date. So Duncan and I had been in, let's say, a longer term relationships prior to meeting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 30. Duncan would have been 29, 28, 29. And so, that stage in our life, it's pretty important to have those sort of honest discussions.
For sure. Yeah.
Straight up. I've definitely always seen myself having kids of my own. And on our third date, I asked him pretty directly if kids was something that he wanted to have in his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would have been 2018 is when...
I feel like the third date is adequate.
Yeah.
Yeah, to talk about that.
And then from there...
We didn't start the journey then.
No.
All right, let's get going.
Should we go out to coffee maybe next week?
Do you know what? I feel like you guys are the couple, especially you, Duncan. I feel like you are the type of person to go, right, okay, we've said yes, let's do it.
I don't know where you get that impression from. What are you talking about?
It definitely changed the course of kind of like planning our lives together, about building our home and that sort of thing, so that we could set ourselves up for us to be able to support kids in the future.
I would imagine that it would be a nice little piece of knowledge that you're like, okay, I really like this guy, and I know that one day when it comes to it, he's as into kids as I am, and that's kind of, it's reassuring. Yeah.
Certainly. Well, and then I think it came to during COVID. We were in lockdown, living in an apartment in Hawthorne at the time and spending a lot of time together. Fortunately, we were both able to still go to work every day, or else this could have...
Oh, right. Okay, well, that's nice. Yeah.
That little bit of separation. And then I think one night we just were on the Gay Dads Facebook group for Australia, which is such an amazing resource.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So much, and still learn so much.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Rodney, who started that group. Yeah.
Incredible group. And then we just started talking and thought, hey, why don't we start this process? Like, by the looks of it, it's kind of 18 months to 2.5 years.
So what were you looking at? What were you typing in the search bar?
I think we put a post out initially just introducing ourselves and asking people for kind of their own experiences.
Yes.
I guess what was important for us was to have Duncan and I on the birth certificate, and we knew that Canada's laws was able to do that, to take the surrogate off, so that was both of us on birth certificate. And then
we wanted to have 2 children as well. Well, that's the goal. And ideally one from each of our DNA, if you will.
Yep.
And there was some clinics that we were kind of told about through the Facebook group that would be able to support that. And that's
within Canada or just globally?
Within Canada.
Within Canada.
Yeah.
So you decided Canada because of the altruistic surrogacy?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's break down. Altruistic surrogacy in Australia means for no money, for not for profit. Yep. And so how does it work in Canada? I'm really curious because I actually don't know where, if that's the case, why would a woman over there say, okay, well, I'll do this for 2 people that are across the other side of the world that I've never met?
Yeah, look, I think being so close to the States, I think has changed the, I suppose, ideas around surrogacy and helping other people that may not be able to conceive their own children. Whereas Australia, we're so far removed and, unless it's not as common to know somebody who's been a surrogate in Australia or who's been an egg donor. And I know we say it's altruistic in Canada, but that is very much within inverted commas, I think.
Yes. And we have had previous guests that have said that with the inverted commas. Yeah.
And it's one of those things you start to learn as you're right into the process.
Yes.
And then go back and out at that point, which is fine. And you look back at it all and go, I would not take back a single thing for what we've got right now with Bella. And we will absolutely do it again for a sibling for Bella. But we will go into the second time as well, knowing a little bit more than we did the onset.
Yeah. So how does it work? So you find a clinic and are they actually advertising? Because this is what my gut feeling on this would be is they say that it's not for profit and nobody's making profit on it, but their fees and the things that they charge will cover all of that, if that makes sense. So how do they actually advertise altruistic surrogacy over there?
Well, I think the first step for us was we were recommended to create fertility, which is, I suppose, the elephant in the room when it comes to fertility agencies or clinics in Canada, and reached out to them. Were then put through to what we later discovered was their international support arm called Babies Come True. Had some great meetings with them. They took us through what the entire process would look like.
This is all virtually? Yeah.
This is all virtually, during COVID from the lounge room. And I think it was Nir Cohen. Incredible guy. We got a lot of knowledge from him. They spoke about what Create can do, took us through the packages that they offer as well. The package that we went on to was the Guarantee 1+1, which is a guaranteed 2 live births, 1 from each of us, and using the same egg donor as well.
Great.
So that Bella will be genetically related to her sibling through the egg donor.
Yeah, right.
They then say that they can refer you through to other agencies, so like fertility agencies to locate an egg donor or a surrogate, legal companies as well when you get through those process of going through the legal proceedings with egg donors and surrogates. And then basically you just get sent a whole bunch of information, a few different contracts, and it's incredibly overwhelming.
So they give you all these packages and then I would imagine there's a price attached to each package.
A very big price attached to each package. Obviously, the Guarantee 1+1, I think, is the largest package they have. And
yes.
I mean, we can say at the time for us, that was about 65,000 Canadian dollars for that package.
Yeah. And then that doesn't include because the surrogate's technically not making any.
Well, no, that's completely separate to the surrogate.
Yeah.
This is just the cost for the clinic.
Yeah, right.
To do all the medical side, the creation of the embryos, the storage of the embryos, the harvest of the eggs prior to that.
So then when you find the surrogate, they say, we're good to go because they've been with us. And okay.
Exactly, yes.
And they help you with that partnership for the next step to find the surrogate. Yeah,
they can.
Right.
And what we discovered very early on was Babies Come True. When I was comparing the agreements from Babies Come True and Create, I was going, this is a lot of the same stuff. And I'm like, why is there like $5,000 or $10,000 that we're paying to Babies Come True? What are they doing? And then I actually posted it on a Facebook group. A few people said, oh no, it's just a marketing arm. It's their marketing part for international company, or for international intended parents, sorry. And then went to Nia and said, hey, like, why would we use Babies Come True? And then it turns out they're really there to support the internationals, particularly those from non-English speaking countries to begin with. I think we were even referred to as sometimes like Israelis. And I think just in terms of how Israelis would respond sometimes in terms of just who they are in their demeanor, it's very much like, well, I've paid for this. This is what I want. Whereas that's not how you can speak to surrogates or egg donors who are really giving up their time and their bodies. So they can help to, I suppose, lessen some of the communications and to make things flow a little bit easier.
This was probably the first part of our journey where we kind of, pulled the foot off the accelerator on when, okay,
hang on a minute.
I think we need to be a little bit cautious because naturally we want to trust that people are going to do the right thing for us. And at every step of the way, it was like, yeah, this is the person that you need to talk to. And then we, when we had those two contracts or, the packages compared, we're like, well, we don't actually understand what value we're going to get out of this situation. And for those out there that would just agree, that was potentially 10,000 Canadian dollars that we would have been out of pocket for.
What's the conversion roughly to Australia? It's like when you talk about 10,000,
90 cents.
So it's double, really.
Oh no! So it's about 1.1 times.
Oh, okay, right.
10,000 Canadian is 11,000 Australian.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, okay, yeah. So do you feel that you were presented with what this was going to cost from the get-go, or is it kind of drip-fed through to you? Where you're like, okay, we need this much more money and we need this more money. Like if you could do a summary of everything that you paid, are you happy to share that?
Yeah, look, I think it's like a business. I think the biggest thing I've learned in business outside of this is that it's going to take longer and it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we experienced through this journey. I think all up, we had that for 2 children, we'd be looking at about $250,000 all up.
My eyes just widened. Wow. Wow, okay.
Our bank account has not widened. It's quite the opposite.
It's shrunk. At least you've got something to hold over Bella.
Yeah.
When she doesn't clean her room when she's 5, you go, I paid a fortune for you.
You know me, I've kept every receipt. So if we ever get I'm like, MasterCard, I'm priceless. We're like, no, you're not.
No, honey, you're not.
That cost.
Let me do an inventory.
Yeah.
So 250,000, which they say if you go to America, it's roughly around that much. Yeah, but that's for one.
Yeah,
that's for one.
This is for 2, and that takes into account kind of where we see our next surrogate also costing as well. So that's everything.
Yeah.
For the 2 of them.
Yeah. Okay. And so you get everything, and then tell me about the process of getting the surrogate.
Yeah, so it was egg donor first. We then worked with another agency who were quite large at the time, were recommended by several APs here in Australia, and got taken on board with them straight away. We went through the process of then finding an egg donor, which is like Tinder on steroids.
Yes.
We were getting sent 20, 30-page profiles of these women, and I'd print them out at work, and then we'd bring them home and we'd sit together on the couch during lockdown, nothing else to do except read about all these women's lives.
Yeah. And what kind of stuff do they to obviously tell you? Their health, family backgrounds, but then interests and stuff, I'd imagine. Yeah.
So a little bit about themselves, how they've grown up, characteristics about themselves and their family. So I've got blue eyes, but my mum had green eyes. And then also the health side. So if there's any family history.
Which is the important stuff.
Yeah, which...
Do you feel like that stuff is kind of glossed up? Like, is it put together in a way like it is kind of like you said?
I would say the family history, medical history is kind of like, it's like a chart that you would see at a hospital. It's got crosses and
overwhelming.
And,
yes, right, okay.
So which is kind of what you want.
It's what you want.
Black
and white.
Maybe how they grow up and the, I guess, education they've had is a little bit glossed up.
Yeah.
You know, for myself, I was like, you know, education, I feel like that's something that's not really important.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it is important.
Oh, it's important. but how you bring up your children, it's not really connected to how the egg donor was brought up as
nature versus nurture thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, we had lots and lots of profiles. I would say we've got about 30 profiles. We've still got them.
Yeah.
30 profiles, but it was actually a really nice experience to go through. You start to paint a picture about what your children will look like. And
yes.
We'd bring them to our families' houses and go, these are the 5 profiles we have. That was the first time.
Well, was there anything in particular that you were drawn to? You know, was there physical characteristics that you're like, I think this is what we want. This is what,
A little bit. So we wanted, for those who are listening, Duncan and I are both brunette, and Duncan has green eyes and I have blue eyes, let's say Anglo sort of background. So we were looking for features that were going to not overpowering, but complementary of Duncan and I, so that, you know, that we could have a nice family unit.
Yeah.
And so...
Did you do any of those AI generator? You know, those things where you
Oh, not generators, but we did do eye calculators.
Yeah.
So if we get a brown eyes, that their parents were these. And
Yeah,
what were the eyes?
We were in lockdown as well.
Yeah, for sure. I can just imagine Duncan coming out with like a photo going, I've merged our photos together. We've done a W1. It's like,
So we did match with, or we chose a egg donor. And so interesting to know is that we choose the egg donor, but then when you get to surrogacy, surrogates choose us. So this was kind of the only opportunity for us to really have, I guess, some influence.
It's quick too. We took maybe 4 or 5 days reviewing the first 5 profiles that we'd received. We took them to our families. We picked one and then went back to the agency and said, we'd love to speak with this person and they might be eligible for our program. They've done an egg donation before and they had a great harvest. And the agency said, oh, look, they've just actually agreed to go on with another couple.
Right.
So we can have a chat to them to see if they're willing to do another journey, but it might be, 4, 5, 6 months down the track, depending on uni and all those other things that she might have going on. And we're like, oh, what do you mean? It's been 4 days. You sent her profile. And they're like, oh, well, they get snapped up really quickly.
Wow.
So like, well, maybe you should have told us that.
Yeah.
And maybe we wouldn't have taken 4 days. And waited to tell our families over Zoom.
Yeah.
So then the next times it was, all right, here's a couple profiles. We'd be like, right, this night we are reviewing them.
We've got an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a bit confronting because you feel like you're at a shop almost.
Yeah.
And you're like, I am picking the egg donor for our family.
Yeah. The weight of that is huge it sounds very transactional and very business-like, but then what it is actually for is so monumental and huge that it's tinged with all this other stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you chose the...
Yep. Chose we had an egg donor. And then she was overseas at the time, came back and then completely flaked off, disappeared. Agency couldn't really get a word out of her. So then we were back to the drawing board again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably really important is over the course of the whole journey of Bella coming into this world, there was a fair few moments that, just pull the heart out of your chest. And it's actually quite challenging because we had this egg donor for 4 months and, we're planning our lives and telling our families and showing them the photos and then for...
Doing the AI generators.
Yeah.
But that was actually, quite disappointing. It was the first kind of setback for us for where we saw the next stage of our life going. And I think it's really important that you prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, because the reality is that it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that. So what kind of... Did you just lean on each other or did you get any counselling? Did you get any counselling throughout this journey?
Look, no, it's quite different when you complete a journey over in Canada. There was a very quick counselling session we had with Create, which is just a tick box. Let's be honest. It was like 40 minutes and they asked the questions of, why do you want to be a parent? And have you thought about the conversations you'll have? And, you know, when they go to school, what are they going to say when they come home and say, oh, where's mummy? And you're like, this is stuff I haven't really thought about.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me this?
Yeah. And that's done through a counsellor?
Yep, that was with the Create counsellor, which is just a requirement over there.
Yep, to get through to the next
Speaking to, we've got a couple that we're friends with back here in Australia who went through an altruistic journey here locally, and the process they went through with the multiple counselling sessions, the sessions with the other couple, and then the essays they had to write and the approvals they had to get as well. I'm like, for us, it was, well, if you pay the money and you just tick this box, we'll get you there.
It almost sounds like you said earlier, with Canada being so close to America, and in America, it's paid surrogacy and it's a fully fledged business. It sounds like America do it very upfront. You know exactly where the money's going and who's getting what, and that, you know, who's profiteering and all the rest of it. But Canada try and disguise it a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And they're all very interconnected as well.
Yeah.
Like you really start to learn that the fertility companies, the lawyers, the agencies that you work with as well, they all know each other.
For sure.
Speak to each other.
Yeah.
It's a little bit incestuous.
Yeah.
It's like you cannot say anything to anyone because you know the word is going to get around. And when you've got even, you know, legal disputes, which we can get into later, you're working with lawyers that connected to the agency that you're working with that you're disputing.
Yes, yeah, right.
Like, how do you do this? Like, there's a conflict of interest here?
Yeah, where do you draw the line? And yet they want the business, the future business.
Exactly, and we're paying the lawyers, so you should be representing us, but also you're having conversations with the agency who referred you to us.
Yeah, yeah. So we're up to the egg donor. What happens next?
So we had the one setback and then we landed on our egg donor that we ended up choosing. And we had a bit of a meet and greet with her on the phone.
Oh, my God. What was that like?
It was actually something that she wanted to do.
Great.
I believe we were her 5th donation that she has done.
Which is the maximum they can do in Canada as well.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. You know, in what span period?
I think in their lifetime.
No, but how? So she reached her 5 with you. Do you know over a period of how long she
was only 22, I think. She'd done that since 18, 19 years of age.
Yeah.
Decided she didn't want to have her own kids and she knew she could help somebody else have a family. So she was incredible in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just having an impromptu chat. You know, she's walking around her house, feeding her dogs, not wearing a bra.
It was 4 o'clock in the morning for us as well.
You know,
this is too confronting to see boobs right now.
At all.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But she was quite frank, and she was just, you know, she identifies as a lesbian woman and was just like, I don't want to have kids.
Yeah, or wear a bra.
And
burn the bra.
But I do want to help those that do want to have kids. So she's really great, and one of the parts of the profile was, are they open to communication over the age of 18? And she was. So we, you know, along the way we were quite conscious about finding people that, you know, if Bella's got questions that we wanted people that she'd be able to reach out to in the future.
And so did you, because that was on the form and she had ticked yes, did you discuss that with her? Have you since discussed that with her? Or have you had just the one meeting?
That's a part of the legal agreement that we go through then after that initial meeting when we both agree that we want to work with each other. Then you do go through that process and it is outlined very clearly as to what the communication will be now moving forward into the future.
Yeah. I guess the reason I'm asking is because it said 18. If that comes up sooner, has she indicated that she's flexible?
Yeah, look, honestly, for us, we haven't had a lot of communication with her since.
Yeah.
At the time, we went into it thinking that the egg donor would be the person that we would have a lot of ongoing communication with, and a lot of other couples do with theirs.
Yes.
I suppose that's a little bit in the back of my mind, like almost regret also. But, you know, we did try and reach out when we'd matched with a surrogate to say that we were now pursuing the actual, you know, journey and didn't get a response from her. I think then we tried to send her a message and then her number had changed. And I think there's just a lot going on in her life, and this was just a thing.
But also, it's, about, her intentions, that she's giving up her eggs to help another couple create a life, and then she might see it as, okay, now I step back and my job's done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it exactly was.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, and so this surrogate.
Yes. Another step on the shopping journey, but this time Duncan and I were the products on the shelf.
Yeah, tables turn.
For surrogates to come and choose, I guess. So
I would imagine that would be because of the altruistic spin that they put on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that it has to be them that choose.
This is when we started to realise as well, and through other conversations with people, that the agencies over there are very selective on who they even choose to bring on board with them.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We were going through this journey and going, oh, that was really easy. We met with Create and we got accepted straight onto their program. We've since learnt that they only take on a certain number of IPs every year, and every meeting and interaction that you have with any of these agencies, right from the first email or phone call, they are assessing whether or not they think they're going to place you.
Right, okay.
Or match you.
Because then otherwise it's just a waste of time.
It doesn't look good for them.
And IP is intended parent, yeah?
IP is intended parent, exactly. Yeah. So, when we first met with the agency that found our egg donor and surrogate, we had great communications with their intended parent support person, daily emails, and you go through all the fluff and, there's this and the butterflies and the smell of the spring.
Now let's get down to business.
Exactly. And also where are we at?
Yeah.
But you have to go through this because they're going the whole time, well, if we're going to take you on and you're going to pay us this money, we want to make sure that you're going to get matched.
Yes.
Turns out, as Australians, first of all, that puts us in a top category. A lot of international women want to work with Australians.
Is that because Australians are seen as exotic because we're so far away and stuff like that?
I think there's the exotic factor. Some egg donors, for example, like I know our egg donor had worked with an Israeli couple, a French couple, Spanish couple, I think, and wanted to just tick Australia off the list.
It's like that at Bean, when you travel all
exactly. So,
and communication-wise, Canadians and Australians align a little bit closer together. Yeah, I would say that we're pretty similar.
Yeah.
And the age thing, I think, is a big thing over there as well. So we learned, we were both in our very early 30s. So the agency said to us, like, we'll get you matched pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which we're like, oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
But we've learned that they do turn away a lot of couples.
Right.
And they do look at things like your age, your income, your everything, because they're just going, if we're going to put you in front of potential surrogates who are going to choose you, why are they going to choose you?
For sure. Yeah.
And
so it's that whole, in the back of their mind the whole time.
And you have to do the stuff that they send across to you. They'd started up a TikTok channel, and every Friday we have to put together a TikTok, and they say, this is what you need to do. And we were then on a trip to Europe that year, I think 2 weeks after we started the TikToks, but it was every Friday.
So you have to sell yourself, really. Yeah, that's what it boils down to. You're selling yourself.
We were in Mykonos, doing our TikTok. We were in Portugal in the hotel room. Shit, we've got 5 minutes to get this.
Rob, put down the drink. Put down the drink.
Absolutely.
Hide the shots.
And look, that was fun in itself, in that we got to see a lot of the other intended parents as well. But then it almost becomes a bit of a competition. And you can't help but put yourselves up against other couples, particularly couples from Australia.
Yes.
And if they're from Melbourne, it's like,
bring it on.
Seriously.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You see another couple get matched, and then they're posting that, oh, we've matched with our surrogate. We're going through the legals. And you're like, why the hell haven't we matched yet?
Yes.
And then you start to go through all of their content, and you're like,
it's such an emotional roller coaster, and you haven't even got pregnant yet.
No.
Yes. Okay, so the surrogate.
So it's funny, we joke about socials and the TikTok, being part of it that we didn't expect that we would have to do. But the day we arrived back from our trip, we received our first communication from our surrogate via TikTok.
Oh,
in a DM.
What?
In a DM.
So, and
imagine if you missed that.
I know.
Right?
And she actually wasn't, so she was looking to do another surrogacy journey, and she had not received our profile, but because she had seen us on TikTok doing
guys at
dances, she then asked the agency for our profile, in which meant that we were matching with her. So
that's wow. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was really wow.
Yeah.
And especially to have just come back from that trip and to be like, coming down to the post-holiday blues, but then to go, oh my God, this next part of our journey is about to start. We've got this woman who has asked for our profile, wants to work with us.
Yeah.
We actually had a meeting with her, like caught up, had a phone call, like a FaceTime. And then the agency was like, so we'll set up a meeting. We're like, oh, we've already done that.
I've already done it.
Our surrogate is like me.
Yeah, right.
Murray,
Yeah.
just run at 100 miles an hour. Like, we are not waiting for an agency to set up an official meeting.
Totally.
We've got FaceTime.
Yeah. And so, because you said earlier the tables turn and they're picking you, I would imagine, though, you're still sussing her out, right? So you wouldn't.
Yeah. Look, 100%. And, this was a moment where she had just come off of a journey. So I think this was, September? She had just had a C-section in July of that year. And there's at least a 6 to 9 month window until the clinics will allow her to go through another journey and to become pregnant again.
Right.
Obviously, for the safety, having had a C-section, she's also got 2 children of her own as well. So this would be her last and final journey. And we wanted to make sure that things were going to work as well. So we weren't going to rush. We knew it was going to be a bit of a wait for her. We'd obviously had There
must be some comfort in the fact that knowing that she's done this before.
There was, but then there's also those questions that you start to ask each other and that we start to get from our family and our friends of, well, why does she want to go into this so quickly?
Yeah.
Like, she's literally just given birth 2 months ago. Why does she want to have another child?
Well, let's get into that. What do you think the answers are?
I think, and we're still amazing friends with our surrogates, and there is definitely that huge element of her wanting to help people. She is just a giver. That is her personality.
Yeah.
As she said very early on, her love language is gift giving.
Yeah.
And this is the greatest gift she could ever give.
Yeah.
Is life.
Yeah.
And a family.
There's no greater gift.
Yeah. I want to fast forward really quickly to the moment where Bella was born. And I remember looking over at our surrogate and she was staring directly at us when we were holding her for the first time, and she had tears rolling down her face. And she said to us, this is the reason that I do this.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk a little bit about Canada surrogacy in general of, hopefully to help people out there to be cautious of. But, we can't thank Ree enough for what she's done. She's a beautiful, beautiful person to have helped us. And it was literally for the moment to see us meet our daughter for the first time.
Do you know, for me personally, having kids just makes you reflect on your stamp on life and, your journey on life and what you achieve and what you connect with. I can't imagine what, it's the greatest gift that you could give somebody. And I'm sure when she reflects back at her life when she's much, much older, it's going to be that moment where she was looking into your eyes, and for the other people that she's helped. Wow. Just wow. Yeah.
And you look at what a special person. What they go through as well. Ree sent us the injections, and we'd see the daily injections she was having, like the pain, her body changing, like the acne that would come up. And you go, this is a lot to put your body through. And you don't see a lot of it in person because we're so far away on the other side of the world. But to then hear and to get those little videos that she'd send through to us, and you go, wow. This is huge what you were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. What a special person.
You'd go, I don't even know if I would do it for that money.
Well, but there's nothing wrong with saying that, because that's the reality it's like it takes a very, very special person. And there's a few people that would be willing to do that. But she was, and you started that journey with her. What's that like?
Well, we had a few months, which was great. So we didn't get medically cleared.
Oh, because she wasn't allowed to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we met in the September. We were talking every single day, messaging nonstop. And we had a good kind of 5 or 6 months to actually build a relationship with her and her kids. And, she knew all of our families as well. And we had, Christmas phone calls as well with all of our families. So that was really special to have formed that before we actually went into the official process of,
for sure,
the legals and then the transfers and the likes.
And so that was 8 months or 8 months of 9 months of getting to know each other quite intimately?
About 6.
6 months.
Points, yeah. I think we got cleared in February. which meant then we could go through the legal process.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the other tip, is that there are so many moments where you are waiting and you just have to be patient. But then there are moments where you have to run at 100,000 miles an hour.
So you need to be flexible.
Like, we were at a point with the legal agreement with our surrogate, and at the same time she was waiting for her period to commence so that she could go up to Toronto, which was about a 2.5-hour drive away, get the medication to start the process.
Mm-hmm.
And then her period came 4 days early. And we're like, the legals are not done. And I remember being at a school at the time at work, and I was like out the side of the hall trying to call Rob, and Rob was in his head office and didn't have his like phone turned on or whatever. And I'm trying to call the lawyers in Canada as well. And
the time difference is upside down
as well, trying to call the clinics, and we're trying to get these legal agreements just finalized and sent to the clinic so then they can authorize to urgently dispatch the medication to our surrogate, you know, in the middle of winter as well. Like, we're February in Canada, so we're all thinking like, is she even going to get this medication in time to be able to start? Because if we miss this window, then it could be another, you know, month if the next month is approved as well. So those are the moments where you're like, you just put on your big boy pants.
You just
do what you need to do to get.
But it's also, I would imagine, with the distance and and going back to that patience, it's also another lesson is that there's going to be certain things that are out of your control.
Yeah.
Like you're a doer, and that if you're presented with a problem, you want to solve it. Some of these things are out of your control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we've learnt that through this journey in particular.
Well, I think I've learned it.
We need one of those fans that say shade.
You still jump on the roller coaster.
And that's why you love him.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a great team.
Yeah. So tell me about getting pregnant.
I'll let Rob take this one.
Okay.
So we were cleared in February, and then the first transfer was in March. So super exciting. Our surrogate was able to go up to Toronto. She brought a friend with her. You know, they were having a bit of a staycation. Duncan and I ordered some Uber Eats cookies or donuts or something for her to have a treat in the hotel room. And what was great is we were on WhatsApp video call with her when that was happening.
Was there ever any temptation? Do you want to just fly over?
Oh, if we could have, but we were still in lockdown.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it was COVID. Yeah.
Or we might have just been coming out, and we had contemplated, but financially it was just an expense.
We did get asked.
Yeah.
But that's a big cost, and for something as well that isn't guaranteed, like transfers fail.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, we've learned, and we've even discussed with a lot of our friends here who maybe are just going through IVF here locally because they're having trouble conceiving, like, transfers fail.
Well, all the stories I've heard with IVF is the transfers, it never goes on the first one. No. Are you guys going to tell me that it happened on the first go?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
So it didn't. It didn't happen on the first one.
Yeah.
So that was another moment of, you know, take the foot off.
Deflation.
Yep. I think we were out having dinner just before we went to a movie in Yarraville. And then we got the message to say, guys, like, it's a negative.
Yeah.
I remember I was just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
So,
understandably.
So just definitely preparing yourself for those sorts of emotions and for it not going the way that you would hope.
Yeah.
But, you know, credit to our surrogate. She was literally back on the horse for the next cycle.
Literally within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Aligned because it failed so early, we were able to go straight back into it in the next cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of the hardest parts of that for me was so many of your family and friends who have been following you and huge supporters of us and our journey and have been there with us and still are there with us every step of the way. And it's the phone calls, it's the text messages, it's the how did the transfer go, what's the news? And, you know, everyone experiences that grief with you.
Yes, for sure.
But at the same time, you know, we definitely spent a lot of time just with each other and going like, we need to just experience this grief. Like it feels like this loss and this failure and we know we can go again, but it's still something that you experience and you have to feel it.
Yeah. It's almost like if you flip the other side of the coin and you think of a straight couple that are trying to get pregnant, they go through that very privately, and then they find out that they're pregnant. Then they may tell a few people, very, very close to them once they're pregnant, but generally they wait the 3 months and then they declare we're pregnant. Whereas the other flip of the coin is you're going through and trying with a surrogate, you're letting everyone know, but then if it doesn't work, which it didn't work the first time, everyone's like, did it work? Did it work? And you're getting all these text messages and you're like, this is...
And at this point as well, as I said, we'd had a TikTok, like we had a bit of a following. So we were like, people want to know. And I remember we were driving down to see my family, I think in Geelong, and we were like, are we going to share this on social media that this failed? And we really then, came to the conclusion that it's really normal to talk about these things.
Sure.
And, we can't just talk about that. It happened the first time because we saw all of that and we go, well, that's going to happen for us too. And the reality of it is it doesn't happen for everyone.
Yeah.
And there are going to be failures. There are going to be setbacks. You are going to be waiting a long time for some things.
Yeah.
And the more we can normalize that and just have those conversations, the easier it's going to be for everyone.
For sure. I almost feel like when they say when you have a child that it's all bliss and everything's roses, it's like nobody fucking talks about the fact you get no sleep, your life is turned upside down. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why are people talking about that?
Completely panic on it.
Totally. So when did she get pregnant?
The very next cycle.
Yeah,
So,
great.
8th of April.
Yep.
I think was the transfer.
Wow. Yeah.
And our surrogate was somebody who was doing pregnancy tests every day.
Yeah, right.
So
I think you got to wait 7 days or something. And
No, over there it's about 14, they say.
14.
And he started to do them at about 7.
Yeah.
And we were starting to see that line come through. And then we later learned that she was only sending us the 1 daily test. She was actually doing about every single time she went to the toilet.
Yeah.
She was doing a test. So she's like, I took a photo and here are the 80 tests that I did over the course of the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
From literally 3 days post-transfer.
But it must have been the elation. Yeah.
It was very, very exciting. And we were quite cautious in sharing that good news with everybody because we'd just been through the failed transfer.
Yeah.
But I think come 4 weeks, we were like, all right,
we're good.
We're in.
Yeah.
No one keeps me quiet.
Yeah. But then, so you officially start that, the countdown. Yeah.
So, oh shit moment.
Yeah, oh shit. Like, oh my God, this is happening. Yeah, the train's moving.
And then straight up, I'm already looking at flights, where are we going to stay? What time do we need to be there?
Yeah.
What time is the baby coming exactly? So I can coordinate my schedule on the spreadsheet.
And it's funny, our surrogate was having the same conversations about, okay, what's my due date going to be? When am I having the C-section? What's the weather going to be on that weekend when you guys arrive?
I feel like the universe paired you guys like beautifully. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So we were actually quite fortunate because our surrogate had 2 C-sections prior.
Yeah.
That she had planned a C-section.
Well, I don't think you would have a choice, would you? She would have to have a C-section. Yeah. But that makes, scheduling-wise, it's very handy.
Yeah. And when her last children all came naturally, in terms of dates-wise, and she was pushing. She wanted Bella out before Christmas.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We were due on the 30th of December. And she was like, nah, that
doesn't work for me.
Going to go around the 38, 39 weeks. And then as we got closer and closer, she was like, I really want it out as early as possible. And the obstetrician only does C-sections on a Friday. So that's either Friday the 15th or Friday the 22nd of December. And the 22nd means I might be in hospital for Christmas. So I'm going to push for the 15th.
Will that work?
And she did.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that just, Yeah, right. Okay.
And the journey on the lead up to birth was really great. Our surrogate did lots of sharing. Every doctor's appointment she went to, every scan that she had, we were always called in. So we're on the journey with her. But it is quite challenging to not be in the same country.
For sure.
Because we weren't seeing our daughter grow. We didn't get to...
It's almost like you're plugging into what's happening, which is so monumental. This is life-changing stuff. And then once you disconnect from the FaceTime or look away from the photo or the video that she sent, it's like, okay.
Back to normal life.
Back to normal life. Yeah.
We're going out, seeing friends, doing normal things. Like we don't have the
Yeah.
Can't watch what I'm eating or watch what I'm
Yes.
drinking.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And so do you go over there a couple of weeks before Bella's born, or do you go over there? When did you go over?
So we were there just under 2 weeks before she was born.
Mm-hmm.
We were really, really grateful to have Duncan's parents there as well.
Great.
So they had offered to come over to Canada with us just to be a support. And, we understood how long the kind of post-birth legal process was going to take, getting passports, that sort of thing.
And so what is it? How long do you need to stay in Canada?
Generally say about 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to be back in Australia for work on the 12th of January.
Yeah.
So we had maybe 3 and a bit weeks over Christmas and New Year as well.
Yes. Yeah, right.
But you can make it happen. We made it happen.
Yeah. So we landed 2 weeks beforehand and we went to our surrogate's hometown. So we
straight away?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. We stopped in New York on the way over. More of a kind of
final hoorah.
Baby moon. Yep. Baby moon, they describe it.
My parents.
Yep. Yeah. You have I'm curious, did you have the baby showers and all of that kind of stuff? Yeah, love that.
Had the baby showers, had the gender reveal.
Yeah.
Did everything along the way. So it did feel really normal and that got us excited.
For sure. Yeah. Those little milestone things that you were doing to celebrate. Yeah.
And so those 2 weeks in our surrogate's hometown were really, really sweet. We got to meet her friends. We got to, spend time with her daughter and spend time with her and, kind of solidify that friendship that we'd been building for the last, 12 months.
I can't even imagine. It would just be so special.
Yeah, it was actually really, really very cold.
Yes, yeah.
We did get some snow.
Any kicks from the valley?
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we ended up spending Christmas together as well. So it was just a really special time to be in her hometown. We just got a little place and had a fire and Duncan's parents there. It actually didn't feel like we were away from home.
Yeah. And then Bella's born.
Yeah, and that's that moment of we came and drove, not that it was meant to be, to our place, picked us up in the morning. We drove to the hospital and she turned to us.
Did you get any sleep the night before?
Absolutely none.
No. Yeah.
Well, Duncan got none. I slept 8 hours.
And she turned to us and said, let's go have a baby.
Wow.
And that was, I remember sitting in the car, in the hospital car park before we walked in going, wow.
Wow. Just like
in a few hours, we're going to have a baby.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we were booked in for 11 o'clock down in the ER or getting ready, getting our scrubs put on. We'd packed way too much. We brought way too much formula with us.
Yes, yeah, well. And your mum and dad?
Yep, they were there up in the waiting room. So we had a room upstairs that they were waiting in. So we went down. We had a photographer with us, which we were recommended. And it was actually incredible.
For sure.
Have that photographer there. Wasn't allowed into the actual birthing suite, but all the moments up to it where, we're sitting by the bed and our surrogate's in the gown. And we're in our headgear and, just waiting to go in. And then the second we walked out, we've got all of those photos and the first moments with us, the chest to chest with the grandparents.
Yes.
It was so nice to actually,
joyous.
Yeah, have those things to look back on as well.
For sure. Because I would imagine it'd be a bit of a blur.
Oh, absolute blur.
Yeah.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really special. And I think we were in and out of the birthing suite within 15 minutes.
And how is the process of, handing over? So Bella's handed to you and she's looking in your eyes going, I'm so happy. Then she just like slowly fade away in terms of then you take Bella and then she goes back home? This is the surrogate?
Surrogate. So we were there, as we said, in the birthing suite. We put the first nappy on Bella, Rob cut the umbilical cord, and then we wheeled Bella straight out of the room upstairs as our surrogate was getting stitched up and going into the post-op procedures upstairs. And then Bella was with us the whole time. Our surrogate, we were really lucky at the hospital. We were with a beautiful hospital. They had us in a room directly opposite our surrogate as well. So we had our own room for the night. Surrogate was due to be there for 4 or 5 nights as well, obviously with the postpartum recovery. And we got to, go in between the rooms. Our surrogate's partner came in and
great.
Everyone having holds and,
yes,
photographer was still there, and we got some beautiful photos as well with our surrogate holding Bella for the first times. And
so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And then, the next morning came along. Actually, we should tell Rob this great story of Rob's first night in the hospital.
This is actually probably when I became panna cotta.
It was. Actually, if I think back to the fate, if panna cotta had a face, it was when I was lying on the bed, having a sleep, looking up at you holding Bella. That is the moment.
Go on, tell me.
So Bella was born at
midday.
And so we'd had all of these great moments holding, she'd taken her first formula. Everything was going really great. And then it came to about 11:30 at night. And we're like, we should probably try and get some sleep. And so Duncan was like, oh, Rob, you go first. And so I laid down in there. They had a little porta cot set up on the ground. And so I just jumped into that. And I remember closing my eyes and 1,000 thoughts going through my mind. And I'm like, okay, I'm not sleeping. So I jumped out.
You'd be so wired.
Yeah, I was wired.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped out of bed and I'm like, okay, I can't sleep. So I think you should. And this is that never happens, by the way, like me not sleeping.
To this point, 34 years, Rob had been on the Rob Moore holiday.
So we swap positions. I take Bella in my arms. I'm propped up in the chair. And in my mind, as Duncan closed his eyes, I said, I'm going to let him go till 3 a.m. And so that was about 2.5 hours worth. And I literally stared at that clock with Bella in my arms and I watched every second count down. I waited till 3:02 a.m. I then stood up, went over to Duncan's bed, kicked it. Get up. And I went, babe. And he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, nothing. And then he just stared at me and just said, give me the baby.
Literally lying in bed, my hands up. I'm like, give me the baby. We're having a meltdown.
You needed a Xanax or something like that just to take the edge off.
She was perfectly fine purring in my arms.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with the situation, but I think just the responsibility.
It just hit you.
And it hit me.
And I think that's where this change in me came about. I was like, you know what? It's totally fine for us to put the baby down in the bassinet to have a sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to go and get the nurse and we're going to make sure that we swaddle her correctly the first time.
Yes.
And we're going to put her in the bassinet.
Yeah. And it's almost like a tsunami of just like, oh my God, like the weight of what this represents is just huge. Yeah.
And we'd done a little parenting class with an amazing woman, Melissa, over in Bree's hometown. She came over and took us through how to, swaddle, how to put a nappy on, all of those things to expect and formula feeding.
Yeah. And then you had your mum there.
Had mum there as well. All of that stuff just completely, you'd lose it.
Yes.
And you're like, how do you swaddle? Like, what am I doing?
Well, how do you breathe? Like it's just, because your life is turned upside down.
And so, the nurse came in and swaddled Bella up, put her into the bassinet, and we had 3 hours of sleep after that. Yeah. So that was great.
Yeah. And it came to, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning and the doctor woke us up.
Yeah.
The pediatric doctor came in and we're like, what's going on? Oh my God, is she still alive?
Yes, yeah.
You had those freakouts and you probably would have been as well.
Totally. Do you know what? When I was, I'm known in my family as dropping a lot of irons. Yeah, Mum was like, I'm always replacing irons because Murray used to drop them. So when we had 2 kids, I was like, I'm going to drop them just like I dropped the iron and I'm going to kill them. And you just like have these irrational thoughts. Yes, yeah. I would doubt that's uncommon. I think that's something that's for all parents. So tell me about the process coming back to Australia and, the legalities of, getting back into the country with Bella.
Yeah, so for us, the biggest thing was we had a date that we needed to come back by.
Yeah.
We had worded up everyone we could beforehand. We had an incredible lawyer in Toronto that we were working with, Michelle Flowerdale. She's beautiful. Love her. We had meetings with her, Zoom meetings set up as well. There's a little bit of legal paperwork you have to go through just in terms of, our surrogate being taken off of the birth certificate, us being added on, going through the parentage orders, the consent orders. So Michelle was amazing, processed that all really quickly. we ended up going up to Toronto just to be a little bit closer to the passport office, to the lawyer as well.
And the city.
And we're then coming into Christmas as well. So we left on the 26th from the local town to Toronto. So we're like, there's going to be Christmas shutdowns. We don't know what the weather's going to do.
Yeah.
We're getting passports and birth certificates sent in from other provinces. So there was a lot of just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. And then it came to about 4 days before we were meant to leave, and we're still waiting.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Duncan kicked into Superdrive again, and it was on the phone to the passport officers, right, what do we need? What can we do to start the process of getting this passport going? They're like, well, look, you can come in and have the meetings. We can get everything set up for you. You will need to get us the birth certificate, though, when that arrives. All right, cool. I'm calling the birth certificate place, which was about 2.5 hours flight from Toronto.
Thunder Bay, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay.
And then we were like, cool, yep, they're processing it. Great. We had our lawyer follow up with them as well to make sure, like, we need this processed and printed. Like, it has been more than a week and we expressed it. Why isn't it here yet? So that then got printed, got expressed out to us, FedEx. However, ended up going to like Winnipeg. We were tracking it all. And then there was a polar ice storm coming.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, it was a comedy of errors.
Yeah.
And then that plane got cancelled. FedEx didn't know when they were going to get it onto the next plane. And I'm like, well, you will get it onto the next plane.
Yeah.
Like,
The anxiety, I can't even.
I was looking at flights to Winnipeg at the time. I'd had about 4 Valiums at this point.
Still wasn't enough.
About 16 coffees. And I've since learned that the two don't go well together.
I love it.
I'm running around this apartment. Like,
the only thing that would complete that image is just like a pack of cigarettes.
Out on the balcony in the snow. Sucking it in. So then it was finally being then sent on a plane to us. We were like, we'd been to the passport office. I got down there at 6 o'clock in the morning, lined up in the snow, in the cold, called Rob to come later on with Bella. So I was like, cool, I'm going in now. So now you can come in with me. So at least she's not in the cold.
Yeah.
Had our meeting. The guy was lovely. He's like, look, you can get this passport tomorrow. And we needed it the next day because we were flying out the day after.
Yeah. Crazy.
We still need the birth certificate. So following up, we're like, we're going to send this to our lawyer's house. So we're like calling FedEx. This needs to get to our lawyer's house before 4 o'clock. Well, before 3 o'clock. The passport office closes at 4.
Oh my gosh.
It then got to the point it was about 2 or 2:30. And I'm like, we haven't heard from FedEx. We know it's on the truck. I've called FedEx. They've called the driver. They've tried to put a message through to the driver to say, if you're near this place, can you drop this one off as a priority?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going to get in an Uber. So I got in an Uber to our lawyer's house, pulled into the street. And as we were pulling into the street, there was a FedEx truck coming out of the street. And I was like, surely this is it. Got to her house. I'm like, which one is it? See a package on the door. Our lawyer has just written a note on it. Duncan, take these and run. Good luck.
Oh my God.
I literally said to the Uber, I'm like, can you just wait here? I need to go back to the passport office. We'd had a great chat on the road. Couldn't tell I was completely panicked. And was like, I'm not going to leave because I'm going to fear what you will do to me if I do.
I will hunt you down.
So jump back into the Uber. At this point then, my phone has like stopped working. Like,
oh my God.
So I couldn't even put in the address of where we were going. I'm having to hotspot off the Uber driver's phone to try and get my internet going. At the same time, the passport office is trying to call me. It's not coming through for some reason. They're trying to call Rob. They call my friend Lindsay, who lives over in Toronto because she was our emergency contact over there.
Oh my God.
And the passports, Lindsay calls me and she's like, I've got the passport office on this line. I'm just going to merge you. They're like, where are you? I'm like, I'm in the Uber. Literally got to the passport office at 3:45, ran up the stairs, like sweating. I'm like, I've got these things. And she's like, well, what are these? They're in an envelope. I'm like, I think they're the birth certificates.
Hang on, I need a ciggy.
ripped them open. I'm like, yep, that looks right.
Yeah.
And then straight over the guy literally walked out of there as they were closing the doors. Passport office.
Oh my gosh. We've got this as a recording, but you need to journal this or just like capture this because you don't want to forget any of it because it's amazing.
It gets better when we come to the trip home.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, tell me about that. So the next day?
So the next day, we had a lovely last night in Toronto. Went out to dinner with a friend and packed up everything. Mum and Dad had already left a couple of days before this. So I think 6 o'clock in the morning, we're like, yep, drive out to the airport. Our surrogate had left her car with us.
Okay.
So we dropped that off at an airport parking. She was away somewhere and got to the airport, plenty of time to spare. Yep, checking in for our flights with United to Chicago, where we're going to get our international flight home. And it's like, go up to the counter. They're like, oh, your flight's been cancelled. What? All flights into Chicago.
Because of the weather.
Because of this polar ice storm that's just come through. Every airline has been banned from flying to Chicago. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm standing there with a 4-week-old.
How much more can we take?
So standing there going, what the hell are we meant to do? We need to get to Chicago.
Yeah.
So they're like, well...
What was the window from Chicago to your flight home?
Had about 5 hours in Chicago.
So not long.
Flight home.
Yeah.
And Chicago's only an hour flight from Toronto. So we're like, surely there's other flights.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't even care who we fly with.
Yeah,
I go across to American Airlines. I go across to any other airline I can find. No, all of their flights have been cancelled as well. I'm like, we need to get to another city. Where else can we fly? So this polar ice storm was coming up through California, right up through Chicago, and then was coming through Canada. It looked like it was kind of missing New York, or it was not going to hit New York for another day. I'm like, we have to get to New York.
Yeah.
So I'm on the phone to United, trying to get them to change our tickets. On the fly, phone to ANA, our airline, coming back to Australia. Like, can you move our tickets? They fortunately could to New York.
Yeah.
And they're like, you just need to get to New York for a midnight flight.
Yes.
So we are I'm on 2 phones at once on both of our mobiles. I'm also on the payphone at the airport trying to get through to United to help us because the ticketing agents can't do anything. Turns out you can't buy a ticket from United at the airport.
Oh, right. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they can't change you.
What, so you've got to go on an app or something?
So you've got to call them.
Oh, okay, right.
And of course, every flight in America has been cancelled. So
everyone's doing this.
Everyone's calling United.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think 2.5 hours I was on hold for. And then at this point, I'd seen there was a flight to New York with American Airlines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, where is American Airlines? The terminal over. And mind you, we've been in Canada for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We've got a baby with us.
You're just desperate to leave.
So much shit.
Yes. Oh, right.
Suitcases.
4 large suitcases.
Prams and so much stuff. And we're like, Rob, we need to go to the other terminal.
And it was like that scene from Home Alone where the family's running.
Thinking of that Home Alone where she's like, I'm begging you, please, I've got to see my son. Yeah.
But it was us suitcases tracked behind us, baby strapped to us, running, literally running, pushing people out of the way.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Got to American Airlines and then we're like, we need tickets on this flight. And it was literally closing within 10 minutes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, how much this costs us.
Yes, for sure.
Here
get us on.
Oh, just see if I'm just do it quickly.
But then you get to New York, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got to get to Chicago.
No. ANA was so lovely and had moved our flight to then depart from New York. They had one later that day.
Right.
Thank goodness.
But all in all, it added 24 hours to already pretty long trip home.
But it also, you're flying home with a brand new baby. With that stuff all not there, the stress of just flying home with the baby is huge.
All those things of Canada's amazing. They have pre-bottled formula, which is great. So you literally just shake it up and it's ready to drink.
Great.
Chuck it in the bottle warmer that we had. But we had a finite number of bottles that we were able to wash. So at this point, we've already had 12 hours extra onto our trip. So we'll be able to wash them in this location, this location. We got to New York, had to change airports in New York, of course, into Newark out of JFK, middle of the night, with all the bags as well, of course.
Yeah.
Then sitting at JFK and, we're too early to check in for a midnight flight. So it's only 7 p.m. So then it's Duncan down to Dunkin' Donuts. Like, can you please wash this for us? It's the only thing open in the shittest terminal at JFK, Terminal 7. Note to anyone, if you're going to JFK, do not get a flight into or out of Terminal 7.
You're right.
There is nothing there.
I hope somebody is listening to this going, make a note of that.
Yeah. 7. Shit. Like, Dunkin' Donuts was the only place I could go, and they were closing at 7 p.m. And I'm like, can you please wash this bottle out? I've got a sterilizer, but I just need to wash the
They would have taken one look at you and said, of course,
Yeah.
we will wash it. So you get home with Bella. I'm very curious because we'll need to wrap up our chat because we've been having a wonderful chat. You're home with Bella. What does life look like being home with a brand new baby and just, your world's changed. Your life has changed forever.
I went straight back to work.
Yeah, Duncan went straight back to work. We are very, very grateful for everybody who's around us. So both sides of our family are very supportive, quite hands-on, and we've got quite a few people who have had children recently around us as well.
Yeah.
So for all of those questions about colic and, digestion, and we weren't relying completely on Dr. Google, but at 3 a.m., what else are you going to do?
Why not?
So we came home and had an amazing kind of family gathering, but the biggest support was probably my best friend ended up staying for 2 weeks.
Oh, so great.
Yeah. While Duncan went back to work. And so that was a really good kind of easing into it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the day that she walked out those doors and Duncan was at work,
I
was definitely wobbling. But it's been so amazing to have her in our home, and, it's really become a home now that she's here.
Yeah.
And seeing her continue to grow.
And the little legend sleeps 8-9 hours a night from 5 weeks old.
Yeah. Which, you know what they say? They say the next one will be a punch in the gut.
I've decided that Duncan's going to stay home for the next one.
Oh, it's beautiful. Let's finish up by saying, what does a rainbow family mean to you?
Do you know what? Since we've had Bella, it feels really, really normal for us.
Right.
I remember thinking and being cautious about what are the discussions going to look like when we go to the supermarket and that sort of thing. And there I was a little bit scared. But, it just feels like a normal family.
Not to say we haven't had those conversations, though. Like, regularly when we do go out with Bella, there will be people who, and I don't know if it's just babies in general, but they will do things that is just not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've experienced that as well. It's that you get a lot of attraction from, for me personally, it was females.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm curious to hear that. What do you mean?
So it is confronting. You have to come out every single time with Duncan together with Bella.
Yeah.
Duncan and I used to go to a cafe and, no one would ever ask you.
No.
But now that the two of us go to a cafe with Bella, it's, so where's the mum?
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. And that's we haven't had to come out in 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's quite confronting. We did have one incident in Canada, and Bella was 2 weeks old, I think, and we went to a shopping centre and we were looking for a present for Duncan's mum, and these two women came and saw that Duncan was trying to settle Bella, and they just came up and said, do you want us to take her from you?
Wow.
No, we're okay. We're just settling it. And they're like, well, we're both mothers, so
whoa.
You clearly don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that was probably the first time we're like, wow, this is, people would look at us and just think that we're not capable, or that's what it felt like. It felt like.
But Rob will go to the shops and, we'll have Bella just in the day and just picking up something, and you'll have a woman come up to you and just go, oh, look at you giving mum a day off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the fruiterer saying, good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you. Here's 2 pieces of fruit.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not uncommon, unfortunately. And it's confronting, you know, when that stuff happens.
So we do love going, or Rob loves going to parent group and going, yep, she sleeps 8 hours a night. She's super healthy.
Yeah.
Doesn't cry ever. Like, how are all you mothers doing?
You look tired.
Yeah. We're really conscious about, you know, Bella growing up and making sure that, you know, that we are a strong family unit.
Yeah.
And preparing ourselves for, you know, someone asks these sort of tricky questions.
Mm-hmm. And they will come up.
When she's 4 years old, what is our response going to be?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
This is our family.
Yeah.
And, you know, being a part of groups like Rainbow Dads Victoria is really important to us so that we can have really healthy relationships with other queer families and having friends around us that have rainbow families as well is really, really important so that, you know, she can get comfort in knowing that this is a normal family like every other one.
Oh, I love that. Have you got anything that you want to add to that? Because I think this is just a perfect ending. Isn't it?
Now you're going to pass it on to me and talk for another 10 minutes. I think for me is what's been really hard is actually being back at work.
Yeah.
And I know we said, like, Rob does an incredible job. Like, I always say to him, I actually can't imagine doing this myself. Like,
Murray, you're recording, right? Keep going.
I've said this to you before.
I do that to Stephen all the time. I'm like, hang on, can you just stop? I'm just going to get my phone and record what you're saying. Yeah.
But, you know, so many people say to you, just be nice to each other. And you absolutely have to. Like, you're both going through your own struggles. Like, you know, as much as Rob's at home and it's so hard for him to not be at work and to have the brain going as much as it used to.
Water cooler conversations.
Yeah, goo goo gaga and watching the Wiggles on repeat. And then I'm coming home and going, I've just missed her all day and now I'm coming home and she's cracking the shits and she's needing to be fed and then bathed and then just put to bed.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going and working a shitty day in the office and then having to come home and just miss out on all of this amazingness that we've just worked so hard to get.
Yes.
And that's when, you know, we really do lean on each other a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, we do have those things where it's, you know, Rob will go to the gym on these nights and I'll have this time with Bella. And, you know, I noticed that Rob will always let me cuddle Bella on the couch at nighttime and fall asleep on me.
Yeah.
And you do need to just talk about those things and discuss those things.
You're creating you're navigating your new dynamic.
Exactly.
You know, because before it was just you two.
Yeah.
And now it's the three of you.
And it's no harder for anyone. Like, it's hard for everyone.
For sure.
In their own ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys are so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey to parenthood. And I feel like there'll be a follow-up one when baby number 2 comes along and you start that journey. But yeah, thanks again so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the people listening to this podcast appreciate it as well.
Thank you so much for having us.